He joins us, as he often does, to give us some of his baseball thoughts. Larry Bowa. Larry, welcome. How are you?
Hey, Mike. How are you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing really good. Looking forward to this season. I think it's going to be a very interesting season. A lot of parity, I think. I know there's some teams that everybody thinks are going to win because they're good on paper, but you and I both know that you don't always win because you're good on paper. But there's some real good teams out there that barring any injuries, I think they're going to be very successful this year.
All right, Nationals look loaded, all right?
Yeah.
And everyone's picking them. They had a great year last year. They have, obviously, the now maturity of Strasburg and Harper. In your mind, do they have to have injuries to be slowed down?
Yeah, I really think so. I mean, they're top to bottom, and picking up Span really helped a lot. When you got Herron as a number 5, I got to see Detweiler pitch in that WBC. This kid's got a tremendous arm, and they got him like slotted in at number 4. So 1 through 5, they're pretty good. Their bullpen's solid. Again, we don't know what injuries are going to play into this thing, but Harper, obviously his first full year, there's not really a lot of easy out. The only thing that you might be a little concerned about is the strikeouts in the lineup, but that seems to exist in baseball now, and
no one seems to care about strikeouts anymore.
No, they don't care.
You're allowed to strike out 130 times now.
It used to be you had one guy, maybe two guys at 100. Now they have 5 or 6. So but if you look at them top to bottom and their pitching staff and bullpen, they got a pretty good ball club.
1, 2, 3 major leagues right now: Verlander, Kershaw, Strasburg, or you want to put somebody else in there as good as a starting pitcher?
Those 3 are pretty good. I like Price, too. I mean, David Price, the reason I like David Price, maybe, I'm not saying I like him better, but he's got to be in there, is he pitches with a team that doesn't score very many runs. He's constantly pitching nothing going into the 6th, 7th inning, and it's very difficult to go out there every single night and say, I can't make a mistake, and when they get him 1 or 2 runs, basically they're saying, okay, now hold it. So,
good point.
I think David Price is you can throw him in that group also.
And now Kershaw used to have to pitch that way. Now he's going to have run support. You wonder how many games he's going to win with run support,
Yeah, Kershaw's the one thing that I'm not concerned about it, but he hasn't had a real good spring, Mike. And I know he goes in there and power pitchers, the last thing that comes is a fastball. So I'm sure I don't think he's injured or anything like that. But I look at that lineup, and if Crawford gets on base the way that everyone thinks he's going to, it's a pretty potent lineup. The one thing I guess that you have to worry about is the chemistry of that ball club. It seemed like things didn't sort of fall into place last year when they all came together after that big trade, and that's a big concern. But talent-wise, I still think the Giants are going to give them all they can handle. The Giants, to me, nobody talks about the Giants until come August or September, and they go, wow, this is a pretty good team. And you got a guy like Lincecum who's going to be a free agent. We all know what happens when guys are pitching for contracts. But Vogelsong, to me, is a real deal. This guy's really picked it up and learned how to pitch, whether it be all through his trials and tribulations getting to the big leagues. He's finally there, and he knows what he's got to do out there.
Talking with Larry Bowa, of course, of MLB Network. Let me talk about some clubs you know infinitely well. Number 1, the Phillies. A lot of talk about Halladay, and he doesn't have any zip in it anymore. They still have pitching. They got 3 aces. You think the Phillies, with age and some injuries, but 5 or 6 really top-name players, are they going to be good, or are they going to be shaky, or are they going to be mediocre?
Mike, if those 3 pitchers don't miss starts and they're healthy all year, I think they're going to be in this thing with Washington and Atlanta. I watched Halladay pitch today. Didn't really throw great, but threw a lot better than he did. I think he was throwing like 88, 89 today. His command still isn't where it should be, but Cole Hamels is really in a groove right now, and Cliff Lee, you take a look at his numbers. They just didn't get him any runs.
No, he pitched. You talk about hard luck. He pitched in crazy bad luck last year.
And I think Michael Young. I still think he has, especially offensively, can really help that offense. I'm a little concerned defensively on the corner outfielders and maybe the corners in the infield. But Utley and Howard look like they're 100% the way they've been playing in spring training. Dominic Brown is really short in his swing. I don't look at home runs in spring training. I know he's got 7 or 8. The wind's blowing out every single day. I don't look at that, and I don't look at innings pitched and hits for pitchers because the ground's hard. the elements are against you. But Dominic Brown looks like he's really shorting his swing up, got a better idea of the strike zone, and his bat's really staying in the zone a long time. So I look for that ball club. Again, they cannot have guys go down. If they have guys go down, they're not going to be in it. But if they can stay healthy, I think it's going to be those three teams are going to be fighting each other all year.
All right, the other one, of course, we're talking with Larry Bowa, MLB Network. Everyone's now ready to kick dirt on the Yankees. They do have a much weaker lineup. You can count on them hitting 100 less homers. Clearly, the lineup isn't anywhere near. We still don't even know when Jeter will be back, or A-Rod. And A-Rod's might not be back all year. But they have a lot of pitching, but a lot of age on the pitching. Is this the year everybody catches up and passes the Yankees or not?
I don't know if they pass the Yankees. I think it's going to be a competitive division. I can look at that division right now and tell you each one of those teams could win it, and each one of them could come in last place.
I agree. That's a hard division top to bottom. I agree.
It is, and I'm not sold. I know they made some great moves, but I'm not sold. Everybody's jumping on Toronto's bandwagon right now. I'm not sold on that team.
They all came from losing teams.
Pardon?
They all came from losing teams, too.
And let's face it, to me, you can throw all these names on paper all you want.
Right.
Ray is playing on AstroTurf.
I agree.
I don't know
Big
how
problem.
that's going to turn out.
Big problem.
Burley pitching on AstroTurf. I don't know how that's going to play out. I don't like the bullpen right now.
How about the knuckleballer in that league? Do you think he'll do as well, or he pitched great last year? Will he do as well in the American League East?
I think he's the kind of guy, Mike, that you're going to roll the dice with him, and when he's got it, it doesn't matter where he pitches, he's going to get people out, and when he's not on, he's not going to. He controls the running game. He holds runners at first base very good. He feels his position.
Yeah, he does.